Friends of DKIT, the Dundalk Institute of Technology, of Musicality, Mellifluous Intonation. They've gone about their business. They're en route to Brazil. They'll have missed the World Cup, but they're away to play music in Brazil, would you believe, Peter Conway? I tell you this because you're a great musical man yourself.
Yes.
But more than that, you're the chief executive of Warrenpoint Port.
Correct,
and you're
yes.
opening your ample arms wide to the ports of the United Kingdom, who will come to you later this year.
That's correct, yes.
Wow, what an honour.
Yeah, it's terrific. I'm a council member of the BPA, the British Ports Association, so I'm quite involved in the whole ports industry across the UK and indeed across Ireland, because we work very closely with the Irish ports as well. Very similar issues and strategies and so on and so forth. So every year the BPA has an annual conference. It's been in such spectacular locations as Kirkwall in the Orkneys. It's been in, last year it was in Grimsby.
Oh, sure.
But it's also been in places like Brighton, which is Shoreham Port, and Dover. And this year...
You're getting warm heading towards Dover,
yes,
that's all right.
Warrenpoint Port is hosting it this year.
Why did they take Warrenpoint? What happened? How did that occur?
Well, we made it clear that we would be happy to host it. And it means that there are 200 delegates coming from all over Britain, and indeed many from the Republic as well, because of the unique position of us here on the island of Ireland, we decided to invite the southern ports.
Yes.
And the conference will be 2 days long, and it will cover all sorts of things like dredging and things like how the economy is going and how exports are rising and how ships have had to adopt to new technologies, the wind farms, things like, cruise business, how that affects the ports industry. And as well as that, we have all the exhibitors coming, the crane companies and, people who supply all the services.
You're a shop window as well.
Yes, indeed.
Wow.
And it means that there are, of course, 200 delegates, and then their spouses. There's a
economic
There's
well-being.
a complete program for people touring in the Mourne Mountains. We're organising a tour of Narrowwater Castle.
Yes.
We're having a major function. It's like a pig roast in Narrowwater Castle, and an Irish hoolie in the basement. So
sounds good to me.
I'll give you the details of that later.
I've grown an affection for talking about pig roast, for pig belly, pork belly.
Yes.
Done very, very slowly.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, well, there's a bit of fat in it as well.
Yes,
but
it's not so good, but it's nice. So it's what's in it for Warrenpoint? You've told us the generality of the area benefiting from it.
Well, of course, apart from the conference will be held in the Slieve Donard in Newcastle. And all the exhibitors will have their stands there, and all the equipment will be coming in for that. Then, very big part of it is the tour around the port. So I have to have everything ship-shape with all these guys coming, as you can imagine. However, that's not such a big job because we're a modern port, and it's in good shape.
Your port is magnificent. I love the feel. I love going through the gates. I love going down and being greeted by the captain of this roll-on, roll-off.
Yeah.
Those ships, they've invested big time. Sea truck. Goodness gracious. I know about boats. I've sailed the oceans of the world with Ben Line and with Elders and Fife, the banana company.
Yeah.
And I know what a good boat is. These engine rooms are like an operating theatre in a hospital.
They are.
It's amazing.
Well, I think that's to do with the high standards that are across the industry now, and we have to operate to those high standards ourselves, because when you're operating very large cranes and you're discharging, say, products like steel or timber, very dangerous, they're slung. We need to be so careful. Every time we're discharging a steel boat, we have a gang of 6 men in the boat hooking up the steel. When it's being lifted, the crane driver has to be so careful, has to swing it away from where they're operating, land it on the quay. It's very strict standards.
That doesn't happen by accident, the success in that area. You invest in proper courses for the operators.
We do.
This is important.
Well, funnily enough, in today's paper, in the Newry Reporter and the Mourne Observer and the Democrat, we're advertising for additional port operatives, crane drivers, forklift drivers and general stevedores, because we're busy.
You're
And
burgeoning. You're busy and burgeoning.
We're on the employment route again.
Wow.
After a few years of, trouble. The 2008-9 was tough for us, as indeed for everybody. But the economy is definitely lifting. As I've said before to you, we're a very good barometer of that.
Oh, yeah. When I see the big containers with gardens written all over them, I shout, "Hey, well done to Conway." That's what I say.
Well, they're a great company. That's Westland from Dungannon.
Yeah.
And they have really forged a major share of the gardening market, particularly in the south of England.
It's a great story.
And that's what's driving
Yeah.
that business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it would have started with peat and Irish moss peat, but that's diversifying now for environmental reasons, and they actually produce environmentally friendly peat now, which is coming from wood chip. Wow. It's surprising, but it looks like peat and it's effectively the same. And then they've diversified into garden sprays and slug pellets and everything, all the equipment from gardens. And the English love their gardening.
They love their gardens, they do. Is there still a big boy in you that when you see the boat coming in and hear the your heart goes tick-a-tick-a-tick-a-tick-a-tick?
I do like boats, and I've always liked boats from I was a small boy. And as you know, I still do a bit of dinghy sailing at my age. It's amazing, but I do enjoy it. And I go on holiday. Sometimes Noelle and my family, we've had 6 or 7 sailing holidays in the Aegean and the Mediterranean. So we do love boats.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a bit like a busman's holiday.
You can't get away from it. Still, you have to drive your boats on holiday yourself.
Yeah. Do you know what I like, Rowan? If I'm, under a bit of pressure in the office, or there's something bugging me, which happens very rarely because that's not my personality, I can just open the door, put the office to one side for half an hour and walk out on the quay and talk to the men who are working on the harbour. Look at them. It's a great, it lifts everything.
Absolutely.
Because it's a very vibrant area.
I know what you're talking about because I see all the moods of your port from my balcony. I look over and I see the sun shining at night time as it falls behind the mountains. The great mother star disappears and all your lights come on.
That's right.
There's a necklace of orange gleaming around the meniscus.
Yes.
It's lovely. It's from that point of view.
Well, we've actually had a big campaign the last 18 months, changing all our lights to more efficient lights to save energy and to push them down rather than up to stop light pollution. So all of these things are good.
Yeah,
and it's proper.
But you need to be careful though, because if you put them down too far and they can't shine up. If there is a friendly alien coming from another universe, they look, there's one point, and they'll not be able to find you.
Oh, I think the aerial photographs from space of Western Europe do show this line of light between Dublin and Belfast, which is there to be seen.
That's our footprint.
Yes,
that's
it is
very
indeed.
much our footprint. So, organisationally, what's involved in the conference?
Right, there's a lot, because you can imagine we have speakers coming from all over. In fact, one of the speakers is the Chief Executive of Dublin Port, which is it's quite nice of Eamon to agree to come, because I suppose he would find us a bit of a flea on his back at times.
He would at times. Well, once upon a time, the blighter stole sea trucks.
Yes, well,
the merchant, whatever.
Merchant ferries. But look, no, he will be giving a paper on cross-Irish Sea business and how it's developing. But there'll be speakers from all over. Professor Neil Gibson from Belfast will be doing.
University of Ulster.
Yes, and he is being asked to speak on the economy.
Yes.
And we have people coming. We have a very interesting chap from the Netherlands coming to speak on the new era of harbour launches and vessels. As you know, we've got our own made of Clonallen.
Yes, you do.
And it's, 20, 30, 25 years old. But new vessels of that nature now are coming on stream for inspections, for doing seismic work, for all of that. So, there'll be speakers from all over. So there's a lot of organising in that. Yeah. And the people in London, in the BPA, are very helpful. But here on the ground, we've got our event management company, which is Morrow Communications from Belfast. and Jane Watson doing
Yes.
all the work there. And we have Mary Taylor, who works with me in the port,
Mary?
doing all the work here.
Oh, you're Mary.
Mary, yes.
She's
you
a great
know,
girl.
You know Mary
she's a
very
lovely
well.
girl.
So
Always very helpful.
well, she's
She's so helpful. You were busy yesterday, and she
Yeah.
put me through to you. And I said,
know.
Peter, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
that's no,
Very funny.
she's brilliant.
She's a good
There's a
girl.
great team in the harbour.
Yeah.
You know, I've got the two Kierans, as I say, the two right-hand mans, a bit like the two Ronnies. One of them
Yeah.
spelt with K, and one of them spelt with C. So that's
Yeah.
Kieran Grant, the finance director,
Yeah.
and Kieran Cunningham, the operations
Yeah.
director.
You see, don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. It's not rocket science what you do.
No.
It's clean.
Yeah.
It's lovely industry.
Yeah.
Because if you put a sheet of paper in,
Yeah.
you know what's available to bring to your port
Yeah.
and send away.
Yeah.
And on another column, you know what's available to come to your port, to the other port, and bring in.
Hmm.
It's a real barometer of
Yeah.
the economy. And now, as the Canadian in charge of England, he's now saying we'll be putting interest rates up again by the first quarter of 2015,
Yeah.
having earlier said that the bank wouldn't do it until the end of next year. We don't need him to say these things.
No.
Your port tells us
Yes, that's
when we're
right.
buoyant and when we're
Yes.
slipping.
Yes.
And you're
Well,
seeing an up.
I think what with regard to the overall economy, that we've learned some of the lessons of the past with regard to cyclical recessions and booms. And when you begin to see the economy heating, you have to take action to stop it overheating.
Yes.
And I suppose that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
You know, we need to be very careful that we don't get into this big boom again, because unfortunately, it's like everything in life, it balances.
It does,
And the
yeah.
big boom
Leads
is
to it.
reflected by a big
Yeah.
recession. So, you know, I'm not going to be advising the Governor of the Bank of England, but I think he's probably right to
yeah, he's
suggest
probably right.
that, you know, just don't overdo it.
Chill your jets, guys.
Yes.
That would be that would be best. So the other thing you do, how's the marina going for you? You facilitate private boats during the year.
The town dock is a great attraction, because everybody who comes to Warren Point peers over the wall and looks at the boats, and they're moving in and out. In the winter time, it's the mussel dredgers, and they're busy landing their catch and sending it to Holland mostly. And then there are the yachts at this time of the year. And unfortunately, you know, we have a very big waiting list, and we can only accommodate about 17. So
But
at some stage,
you're going to dig a hole up the estuary and
well,
put in more boats.
we're
with a bit
thinking
luck.
of thinking of that. Yes,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of, you know, the main focus of my job, and it has to be
Port.
the commercial
port,
operations.
yeah.
Much as I would love to do the others,
Oh, yeah.
they have to take their place in the queue.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
And the
absolutely.
jobs that are there
Yeah.
are all commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
I suspect if we were able to get a bit of funding and put in a small marina upriver near
Yes,
the roundabout
yes,
there,
yes.
it would create jobs too.
Would surely,
It
of
would,
course,
because
yeah.
people love to get, you know, repairs done,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
there are people
yeah.
operating and managing people coming in and out. You know, you could have 5 or 6 jobs, which would be brilliant.
Which is nice thing. Absolutely. Right, we're so proud of you. Well done.
well, it's-
You escape to music occasionally,
Yes, I do. Yes, I
and
do.
your music you play.
I'm a very bad pianist, but my wife Noelle is a very good pianist, and we have a very large piano in our drawing room.
Wow,
So,
that's good.
And my daughter Erica, I don't know whether you know this or not, but she graduated last year, and she's studying in London. She's home at the moment, but she has played at the Troubadour Club in London, which
Yes.
is where Joni Mitchell, Bob Dylan all
Joni
played.
Mitchell.
She's a singer-songwriter.
Your
So I
daughter?
don't know whether she'll ever make that her career,
Yeah.
but look her up on YouTube.
I will.
Erica Conway, and she does a great version of Bob Dylan's, one of his covers, and she's quite,
Bring her to me.
Yeah.
On the program.
maybe she'll come in and play.
Would you ask her?
I
Would
will.
you ask her? And we and I
Yeah.
communicate on
Yeah.
this, indeed.
Yeah.
Andrew will look up Joni Mitchell while
Yeah.
we're talking,
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
well, dare I not give you Joni
Yes,
Mitchell
yes.
here,
Well, we'll-
you having introduced me to her.
Yeah.
She was lovely, and the way she enjoyed the meal we had with her that night
Yeah.
was great. I came actually close to that in New York on Broadway with Liam. Who walked in but Barbara?
All right.
Barbara Streisand. We
All
were
right.
there. He was performing at that time, and I was over engaging him to do the presentation role on Le Voyage, my film about the Irish artist O'Connor.
Yes.
And he accepted the contract, blah, 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 blah. But then he went down with laryngitis, and Schindler's List was coming up. He was protecting, and he was big. So we agreed that he wouldn't do it. And I went off and I found a really wonderful man, Andrew Sachs.
Oh,
Andrew
yes.
presented it.
Did he?
Magnificent voice.
Yes.
We went to America
My
together.
goodness, he had a hard time of it
Ah,
recently,
sure.
yeah.
Vagabonds.
Yes,
Vagabonds.
yes.
But we went to America, and then at Broadway, we went and met with Liam that time, before Andrew was there, and who walked in but Barbara. And she said, hello, how are you? Blah, blah, hello, how are you? It's nice to meet you. And I'll be with you in a minute, he said. He says, it's her birthday today. They were together at the time.
Yeah.
It's her birthday today, yes, and she let her wait, it's okay. I said, no, don't let Streisand wait. Go. So that was all good. But music, if music be the food of love, play on, that given excess of it the appetite may sicken and so die.
Yeah.
I really, had I been musical, I would have been mega dangerous. I would have been.
Do you not play any instrument?
No, I try to sing. And we have
that's the best instrument.
Well, what we've done, Peter, you'll be proud of this, and you may wish in some way, in some guise, to be associated with it. I keep fishing. You don't mind me fishing?
No.
I fish. I have interest in Dublin on a Saturday, and we have founded the Dublin Homeless Choir.
Oh.
So people who are homeless and come to the day centre of Brother Kevin, they're now there. There's about 12. About 6 of that number, maybe more, maybe 7 of that number are the volunteers who come to help. The 5 are folk who are homeless and are building their lives again, and they're singing. So it's that's as near as I can come to musicality, the business of singing. Do my best, but I think that would be it.
Well,
thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
We have Joni Mitchell for you.
Good.
And she's coming now.
Great.
Thank you. Go well. God bless you. Take care.
Thanks, Rowan.